What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you're a die-hard fan of the Dallas Cowboys or just someone who's been keeping an eye on all the dramas swirling around America's team, then you're in the right place. Today we're diving into some jaw-dropping news that has the entire NFL world buzzing. It seems like just when we thought the Cowboys were settling in for the season, bam! Mike McCarthy, the man in charge, drops some serious bombshells about his future with the team. And trust me, it's not what you might expect. Now you might be wondering, what's the big deal? Why would McCarthy, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, who has led this team to the playoffs twice in his short tenure here, even consider leaving? Well, buckle up, because things are about to get interesting. Over the past few years, McCarthy has had to navigate a roller coaster of emotions, public scrutiny, and intense pressure from one of the most demanding ownership situations in all of sports. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, has always made it clear that he expects nothing less than a Super Bowl every single season, and when that doesn't happen, oh boy, you better believe the heat gets turned up. You see, McCarthy's journey with the Cowboys hasn't been smooth sailing. When he was first hired back in 2020, the question on everyone's mind was whether he could recapture the magic that made him so successful in Green Bay. After all, he had been there for over a decade, winning a Super Bowl and consistently competing at the highest level. But since arriving in Dallas, McCarthy has had to face more than his fair share of criticism. Last year, despite making it to the playoffs once again, the Cowboys were knocked out by the San Francisco 49ers in a heartbreaking loss that left fans wondering if this team was really built for championship glory. And that brings us to the present moment, where McCarthy's recent comments have sent shockwaves through the sports media. In a candid interview, McCarthy was asked directly about the possibility of leaving the Cowboys. Now, you would expect a simple answer, something like, "I'm committed to this team and this franchise and I'm focused on the season ahead." But no. McCarthy's response was far more cryptic, and I think it caught a lot of people off guard. He said something along the lines of, "There's always been talk about leaving, but I've always believed that coaching in Dallas is about more than just football. It's about the legacy, the pressure, and the expectations. Right now, I'm focused on winning here. But you know, life is unpredictable. You never really know what's around the corner. Anything can happen in this business." Let's pause for a moment and think about that response. First of all, did you notice the wording? Life is unpredictable, and anything can happen in this business. Those are not exactly the words of someone who's fully committed to staying in the same place for the long haul. And if we're being honest here, McCarthy didn't exactly dismiss the idea of leaving either. He didn't come out and say, "No way, I'm not going anywhere." Instead, he left the door open. And in the NFL, when a coach leaves the door open, that's a huge deal. Now, you might be wondering, what does this all mean for McCarthy's future with the Cowboys? Is he really planning on leaving soon, or is this just some kind of strategic move to apply pressure to Jerry Jones? Well, the truth is, it's not entirely clear. But what we do know is that McCarthy's situation with the Cowboys isn't as secure as it may seem on the surface. And that's what makes this so intriguing. McCarthy has been the head coach of the Cowboys for a few seasons now, and while the team has shown promise, there's still a lingering sense of uncertainty. Sure, he's made the playoffs, but he hasn't been able to break through to the next level. And when you're coaching the Cowboys, that next level is a Super Bowl appearance, and ultimately, a Super Bowl win. When we talk about McCarthy's future, we also have to consider the relationship between him and Jerry Jones. There's been a lot of talk over the years about Jerry's influence over the team and how he's not afraid to make bold moves when things aren't going his way. McCarthy has always been under the microscope, with fans and analysts constantly wondering if he's truly the right man for the job. In fact, after the Cowboys' playoff exit last season, there were whispers that McCarthy's job might be in jeopardy. Could Jerry Jones make a change if this season doesn't live up to expectations? And if Jerry were to fire McCarthy, who would replace him? Would the Cowboys be looking for a younger, more innovative coach, or would they go in a completely different direction? It's clear that McCarthy's job isn't exactly safe. In fact, every single season under Jerry Jones' ownership is a high-pressure situation for the head coach. You have to win, and you have to win now. There's no room for error, and certainly no patience for mediocrity. So McCarthy's position could be hanging by a thread, depending on how the team performs this season. And if he feels like he's not in control of his own future, well, maybe that's exactly why he's speaking out the way he is. Is McCarthy trying to gain leverage in this situation? Is he sending a message to Jerry Jones, letting him know that his future is uncertain and that maybe, just maybe, he's starting to question whether this is still the place for him? The timing of McCarthy's comments is also interesting, with the Cowboys preparing for another high-stakes season where expectations are sky-high. It's not unreasonable to think that McCarthy might be trying to play a little bit of mind games here. By speaking out and acknowledging that he could leave, he's essentially putting the pressure on Jerry Jones to make a decision. Does he fully back McCarthy and let him continue to guide this team, or does he make a move if things don't go according to plan? It's a power move, whether he intends it to be or not. And with the Cowboys' current roster, which is stacked with talent but still lacking that championship pedigree, it's clear that McCarthy has a lot riding on this season. Meanwhile, fans and analysts have been weighing in on what McCarthy's comments really mean. On one hand, some argue that McCarthy is just being candid and honest about the realities of coaching in the NFL. There's no guarantees in this business and anything can happen. Others believe that McCarthy is sending a subtle message to Jerry, letting him know that he's not just going to sit idly by and accept mediocrity. Maybe he's signaling that if Jerry doesn't give him the resources or the support he needs, McCarthy might consider walking away. Then, of course, you have the fans who are going absolutely crazy about this whole situation. Some Cowboys supporters are already calling for McCarthy's head, saying that he's not the coach who will take the team to the promised land. Others, however, are more patient, trusting that McCarthy can get the job done if given enough time. But time is a luxury that McCarthy might not have, especially if the Cowboys fall short again this season. So, where does this leave us? Well, it leaves us with more questions than answers, honestly. Can McCarthy really leave? Will Jerry Jones pull the trigger on a coaching change if things don't go according to plan? Will the Cowboys be able to break through and finally win that elusive Super Bowl? And of course, what will McCarthy do if this season doesn't pan out as expected? These are the questions that are keeping Cowboys Nation on the edge of their seats right now. And the reality is, we're in for a wild ride. The Cowboys are always under the spotlight, and when you add the drama of McCarthy's uncertain future, it's bound to get even crazier. As fans, all we can do is sit back, watch, and hope that this team can live up to the lofty expectations placed on them. But one thing is for sure, whether McCarthy stays or leaves, the Dallas Cowboys will always be one of the most talked about teams in the NFL. The drama, the highs, the lows, and everything in between, that's what makes being a Cowboys fan so unique. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Mike McCarthy is really on his way out? Or is this just a bunch of media hype? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Cowboys drama, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. Until next time, Cowboys Nation, stay strong.